2023 starts now, and nobody is buying within the secondary market. Nobody's really buying within the primary market with those figures that are in stock. It is 1,000% currently a buyer's market, not a seller's market. Are we about to break out of that since the holiday season is over and with the forthcoming Mandalorian Season 3 on the way? We're going to dive into that within this episode for sure. But with nobody buying right now, even with some grail and some rare pieces, does that equal a no stock scenario for the primary market? Does it add fuel to that theory? What about that 6 scale Boba Fett from the book of Boba Fett? It's waitlisted. That's gone now. That joins Wave 1 of the Attack of the Clones. It's gone. DX28. The DX28 Darth Vader. The collector's edition has a low stock warning. We're going to dive into that as well. What about the production numbers then for all of those figures and these figures that are currently getting officially announced, like the Mace Windu here, like Padme, like Anakin? I've got the coffee brewing right here, baby. A lot of data to go over, and I'm about to go ahead and blow your mind as we put the pieces together. Let's go ahead and dive into all this right now. And welcome everybody to another episode of the Market Value Chart Show right here at Aries Cantina, home of 6 scale Cantina. Please go ahead and smash that like button. I so do very much appreciate your support. And hey, while you're at it, please also go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you so much for your support. So now we're starting 2023. And coming off the heels of what a way to end 2022 with this Mace Windu and that Super Battle Droid. My goodness. Really, with Wave 2 of the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones, we did wind up getting Padme. We got Anakin. We got Mace Windu. We got the Super Battle Droid. Wow. Absolutely a great way to end 2022 and certainly lays further breadcrumbs down as to exactly where Hot Toys is headed. With Star Wars in 2023 and beyond, they certainly seem to be very, very invested in this intellectual property, not only with the Mandoverse and what's currently on Disney+, but on with the foundation of what started it all. And so I am just really, really excited. But this is the current banner of this show, and we've got a lot of things to go ahead and cover on this particular show. Hot Toys production numbers, new waitlist alerts, more drops, less production, buyer's market. Does that equal no stock? So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and talk about this Boba Fett from the book of Boba Fett that went on waitlist between Christmas and New Year's here, because that came out of nowhere. Or did it? And as I go ahead and I pull that up onto the screen, you can see right here, Boba Fett. Boba Fett. From the book of Boba Fett. Look, and say whatever you want, whether you liked the book of Boba Fett series or you didn't like it. Regardless of it, it was up 36% 36.5%. 36.5% more. More ratings than the conclusion, than the finale of the epic, and I do mean epic, season 2 finale of The Mandalorian. 36.5%. Wrap your head around that. It was very, very successful. And it could be debated all day on whether it was Grogu or the Mando that made it more successful than Boba Fett, whatever. My point is, this is still Boba Fett. From the book of Boba Fett. And it is gone. So, I think that we could safely put aside the notion that certain characters that are big, big characters, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Boba Fett, that they are immune to not getting a low stock warning and going on waitlist. I think we could go ahead and safely put that argument aside because obviously they're not immune. Not only did this figure go on waitlist, but the DX28 Darth Vader. The DX28 Darth Vader, a figure that was number one for almost 8 weeks in a row, now also has a low stock warning, which is very, very telling as to what is going on here with Hot Toys and the primary market. That figure, as I go ahead and I pull that up onto the screen, so we could go ahead and take a look at it, is absolutely one of the best Hot Toys releases, quite frankly, I think, ever. I'm just being honest. I mean, it's that beautiful Hayden Christensen head sculpt, half a head sculpt, battle damage Darth Vader. It is amazing. And yet you can see that figure is not immune. And already, all the way up to number 4. Look at that on the screen here, below my video. Number 1 right now, Padme. Number 2, Anakin. Number 3, Mace. I expect Mace to go to number 1 here within a day or two. But Darth Vader all the way up. Why is he shooting all the way back up? He was a little bit down. And the reason he was a little bit down is because he was basically exhausted. Being number 1 for almost 8 weeks, best-selling wise, when you sorted out everything. Star Wars, Marvel, DC, whatever the IP is. For almost 8 weeks. Then it's lingered around for a long time in the mid-range and it was going down. Now, because there's a little bit of a call to action, because when you press on the collector's edition, you can see that up on the screen right here. There is now a low stock warning. Let me try and blow this up a little bit so you can see that there. There it is on the screen. There is now a low stock warning with the collector's edition. And while you go ahead and you can select the deluxe edition and it doesn't show anything, my advice to you is don't buy into that. That there's more time with the regular deluxe edition than the collector's edition. Case in point, when the Attack of the Clones wave 1 was nearing waitlist a few weeks ago, they were getting a low stock warning, but the R2-D2, you could still put 6 of them into a cart, and it did not have a low stock warning. That also went at the same time, basically. Gone. Boom. So, is it possible that even the deluxe edition here, that doesn't have a low stock warning, the deluxe version, that it could go on waitlist even before this collector edition that actually has the low stock warning? And I say, yes, it can. I'm not saying that it will. But regardless of how it falls, whether it happens before or shortly after this, make no mistake about it, it will happen shortly after this or right in conjunction when this happens. And this is exactly the reason why you are seeing that Darth Vader, which is also on this batter here, starting to creep up near the top spot. It was pretty much exhausted out. And now, any collectors that have been on the fence, they're starting to be like, hey, I think I want it. 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 So you're starting to see it come up. And that's pretty much exhausting the level of interest for this Darth Vader as it is. And one of the things to keep in mind when you look at like this Darth Vader, or you go ahead and you look at this Boba Fett, which also waitlisted over the holidays, is that after a certain amount of time, through Sideshow, for instance, using them as an example, they have a lot of years of data, including a lot of recent data over the last 18 months, that pretty much lets them know how much a certain figure is going to sell, how many pieces they're going to be able to get rid of, and how many pieces are going to be in stock, and how long it's going to take to deplete said stock. And what they're looking to avoid at all costs, and many of these companies are, they are looking to avoid at all costs in this economy stock, period. Because right now, besides the people that are interested in these figures when they first come out, except for those collectors that are absolutely 1,000% committed to buying this, or at least 50% committed to buying this, those are the only ones in this economy where there is a chance to actually sell these figures. You've got Grail pieces right now. Grails in the secondary market that are just hard to get rid of at this moment right now. They're just not moving at the prices that you would think that they would go for. And even some of the big ones that sell high in the market value, according to the market value chart at 6scalecantina.com, and I'll push this up onto the screen. Let me give you some data here. Here's, for instance, a Darth Vader, which was going for around $450, pushing $500. Now in this economy, just selling for about $290, which is still slightly above retail, or right at retail, but right there. And this is during the holiday season, not including the $20.75 in shipping, and an outstanding seller. 910 feedback, all 100% positive. Darth Vader, ESB, trending down. You could go ahead and take figures like this Mud Trooper, pulling this up onto the screen. And you can see this here from another outstanding seller. Look at that, 14,148 feedback. Wow. $305 with a lot of bids, 26 bids, not including the $21.79, so that you're $22 in shipping. So I get it, yeah, $327, not including shipping. Still, not selling for in the 400s, is it? And this is brand new. Brand new. And not a whole lot to worry about here with that type of feedback. And I could go ahead and give you another Mud Trooper right now. And this one from a seller that many of us know, a seller that I buy from. This is Hawk Wars Toys. 100% positive feedback. 1,400 now. Congratulations there, Ray. Ray is the owner of Hawk Wars Toys. 1,400. All 100% positive feedback. And look, he auctioned this off. And look at a ton of bids on here, 52. And just $305 right now in this economy for a Mud Trooper that would fetch about $100 more usually. So what you're seeing with a lot of these figures, and with a vast majority of them, is on the market value chart of 6scalecantina.com, you have an average. And a lot of them, some of them are trending down. But whatever the average is, let's say the average is 400. Sometimes it sells at 300. Sometimes it'll sell at 500. But what you're seeing, for instance, with that Darth Vader 40th anniversary, is you're seeing it sell at the lower end of its $400 range, around 300. Same thing you're seeing here with the Mud Trooper, that you see is selling for $305. Does it mean that this Mud Trooper is always selling at 300, 310 bucks? No. I'll see you go for 325, 340. Does that mean that that Empire Strikes Back Vader is always going for 290 or less? No. That's actually pretty low. A lot of times it'll still go in the 300s. But my point is, everything's on the lower end right now instead of the higher end because it is 1,000%, listen carefully, a buyer's market. If you have money to burn, this is the time because premium prices for the vast majority of all of these figures, they're just not getting it right now. Barring some of them. And that's why you're not seeing so many of these figures up for sale right now. You see a lot of sellers holding back right now. Holding back this holiday season. Holding back during this economy. Holding tight on until the economy starts rising up, goes on an uptick. And still we start getting even more interest with the Mandalorian Season 3 when it comes to Star Wars and the Ahsoka series and all the groovy stuff that we're certainly in store for here from Disney and Favreau and Filoni and Deborah Chow and the gang in 2023. And all that stuff is going to help, but especially with some Grail figures and some rare pieces. But it still doesn't help this economy. This economy is not good right now. And you're seeing what's going on here. So, when you can't even get rid of a 40th anniversary Darth Vader at its value, or you can't get rid of a Mud Trooper at its value, or you're having a hard time getting rid of figures, and I'll bring some more up here as we talk about it, at anywhere close to retail. Like this Return of the Jedi. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And for so many of the figures right now, you're not even getting the retail value for it. You're getting way under retail. So if you invested in some of these figures and you were looking to sell to get your money back, well, first of all, you're getting less than retail of this Luke Skywalker right now at just 190. It's Luke Skywalker, 196. Not included the 25 in shipping. Okay? And then when you count in, you got to pay taxes, and then you got to pay your time. You're losing your shirt on this figure if you bought this and then you try to resell it. It's not a great time to sell right now, whether you're a collector and certainly if you're a reseller with some of these figures. It's just not a good time. Pause for coffee. And when you look at figures in the primary market, and let me go ahead and pull up some examples of this for you as I go ahead and try and pull these up onto the screen to give you an idea. There we go. You know, you could go ahead and let's look at this Dark Trooper. And I'll pull this up. And a lot of interest on these figures that are in stock right now, for instance, at a place like Sideshow. This is a Dark Trooper. Ended today, on New Year's Day, January 1st. $185. That's it. That's the demand for price on it. It had quite a lot of bids. People are going for it. Look at this seller. 100% positive and almost 1,040 feedback. Brand new. 185 bucks. You can't even sell a brand new figure right now at the retail price. This is already way under. Look at how far under that is from the retail price. And then I could go ahead and give you some other ones here right now. Pulling this up onto the screen. And here's Jango Fett with 2 hours and 31 minutes left. Quite a lot of interest. 24 bids. Another outstanding seller with over 23,000 feedback. $203.50. Are you kidding me? $203.50. This will not go for, what do they sell for? $285? It's not going to go for that. What's this going to go for? Around this price, maybe $220, $230? People are not even willing to spend this money on these figures right now in the primary market. So, my point is, in showing you some of this data, and I'm seeing it time and time again, not with every Grail piece. Some of the Grail pieces are actually going up, because sometimes in a bad economy, it's a great time to invest in collectibles. And I've already talked about that. And so if you're looking for a New Hope Han Solo, any A New Hope Han Solo, any A New Hope Luke Skywalker, any figures like the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan, or the Anakins, or Jyn Ersos, or figures like that, now is the time. Because you're going to get them, many times you're going to find a bargain. But once the economy goes on an uptick, and in conjunction with that whole momentum of the Mandoverse and content coming up on Disney Plus, you got a potential of those figures. You're talking about figures entering the $1,000 tier range on the market value chart at 6scalecantina.com. We're going to be hitting a whole new stratosphere in 2023 and 2024 and beyond. Because Hot Toys is a hot commodity. Right now, this economy is a cold economy. It's not hot. It doesn't matter what the collectible is. There's more of a cry now to put gas in our vehicles. There's more of a priority to put food on the table. There's much more of a need to take any expendable income and help with those utilities, our gas bill, our electric bill, our mortgage, so on and so forth. Then there is buying these high-end collectibles, which is why you have a lot of sellers holding back, and why it is a buyer's market right now if you find something out there. So if you can't even get rid of Luke Skywalker, and it's $60 below retail, and you can't even get rid of some of these other figures that I was showing you on the screen, and you can't even get rid of a Durasteel, an OG Mandalorian, for anywhere close to retail, like this up here on the screen. And you can see this is another outstanding seller with 1,276 feedback, all 100% positive. An OG Mando, and you can't even get close to retail, $202 with free shipping. Look at that. Look at that. Then how in the world does it make any sense? And listen to me very, very carefully. How does it make any sense for Hot Toys and official retailers to go ahead, and with these figures I'm showing you here on the screen, we talked about the Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. We talked about the DX-28. We're talking about some of the other figures, all Wave 1 from Attack of the Clones. How does it make any sense in the world, with any of these figures that I'm showing up here on the screen, to put these in stock? It makes zero sense in this economy. You can't even get rid of the other stuff. So you have to wonder, is it possible that we're moving towards a pre-order only model when it comes to securing Hot Toys? And I say yes. And I just given you the data that proves my point. I would not put anything in the bank of waiting for these to get in stock and holding tight to that notion the last couple of years to wait for Padme to get into the bargain bin at Spooktacular. Because I don't think it's happening. Or to wait for a DX-28 to go on sale. Because I don't think it's happening. While it was happening, and many channels and all of us who talked about it were right, It wasn't just myself who was listening. It wasn't just you who was listening. It was companies like Sideshow who were paying attention. Companies like Hot Toys that were also listening. And they didn't stick around doing nothing about it. That's one reason to make the change, number one. Number two, this economy is the number one reason why you can't do it, because no one's buying, and that's what's happening. You can't afford stock. You're going to buy, you're going to exhaust what you're going to exhaust on pre-order. Then there are going to be some stragglers, and you can go ahead and put the low stock warning, and you're going to squeeze that juice out of the orange as much as you can to get as much juice out. And whether that's a few hundred pieces or even up to a couple of thousand, that is it. Because when you're talking about sitting on 3, 4, 5, 7,000 in a warehouse, because the only reason we think that's going to happen is because we want a discount, but it makes no logical data sense that they're going to do it. It's just not going to happen. You can't get rid of it right now. You wouldn't even buy a Mud Trooper right now at the right price. You won't even buy Jango Fett right now at the right price. Why? Because Jango is exhausted. Whoever was going to get Jango has gotten Jango. So it doesn't matter if it's Jango, and it doesn't matter if it's Darth Vader over here. It doesn't matter if it's Padme, or the long-awaited epic Mace Windu. Once everybody here in the community gets what they're going to get, and eventually that gets a low stock warning, whoever's going to get it in this economy is going to get it. And that is 100%, I believe, where we're heading when it comes to Hot Toys. And when it comes to these figures hitting waitlist. As far as the window for these figures here, the next waitlist alert, well, I'm going to give you the one right now. Again, it is the Darth Vader. That is one that I'm putting a red alert on right now, because even though the deluxe version says nothing's happening, much like that R2-D2 from the Attack of the Clones Wave 1. That had nothing either. But when you pull it on the collector's edition, there's your warning. This one is going to be going out very, very quickly. And it doesn't matter that the deluxe edition version does not have the warning. It's going, baby. It is absolutely 100% going. What are the next waitlist alerts? I'm going to give you the obvious here. But the DX27, which also sold almost neck and neck with this, but not quite as much. That is 1,000% the next one that's going to go. And you have to wonder, is it possible that when the DX28 goes, that the DX27 is going to go right in tandem with it, almost like all the figures from the Attack of the Clones Wave 1? And I say it's going to be close. You're going to have to keep your eye on it. But I would venture to say you couldn't give them those figures more than a month apart in span. Whichever one goes first, within 30 days, I believe, that next one is going to go. So, the DX27 Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to get the low stock warning, and then that is going to be it, my friends. It is absolutely going to go. And so many of these other figures over here are going to be going quickly. Next ones, and I'm putting this on your list right now to get ready for, is Cad Bane. You already seen it happen with Boba Fett. Cad Bane around the same time as a lot of the figures I'm talking about here. You see Cad Bane, very bottom right now of the screen that you're looking at. Them putting a red alert on that one that's going to be going very, very, very soon. Continuing to scroll down and look at some of these over here. I think you got a little bit more time on the R5-D4. That was very, very, very recent. I think you got a month or two left on those particular figures. The DX27 I already mentioned. Where's the Purge Trooper? Because that's another one. You still got some time on Cobb Vanth. I'd give it about another couple of months for Cobb. I think he recently came out. on that particular figure for sure. Let's continue to scroll down over here. Grand Inquisitor. I would start keeping an eye on the on the Inquisitors. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a call here, just like I made a call with the Grand Inquisitor and Reva. Remember, I was bold enough to mention, and I mentioned this, and it happened. Remember, all the predictions I give you here, a great majority of them anyway, are data driven. And I told you that I really thought that when the wave 2 of the Attack of the Clones came out, you're probably going to see wave 1 hit waitlist. What happened? You saw it. And when it comes to when they're going to go ahead and release the fourth sister and the fifth brother, hold on tight, baby. Because they are 1,000% going to create demand for those figures, and they're going to eliminate. And you're going to see a low stock warning on the third sister and the Grand Inquisitor. And depending on when they want to go ahead and release those two figures, which I think are very, very soon, officially announced them anyway. I've been saying that I think it's a 5-6 month window, 5 to 7 months that you got to be able to pre-order these. But I think with some figures, it's as little as 3 to 4 months. And I think that the Grand Inquisitor and Reva here might be right up that alley there. And I think you're going to see, as soon as those come out, get ready for these to go out as well. They're very, very low. So I would keep an eye out on that. And the Purge Trooper as well. I would keep an eye out on the Purge Trooper. Obviously, all of these that have been recently announced are all in jeopardy. But those ones that I have mentioned there, I think are the ones that are big in jeopardy. And one of the next ones, and I'll save this one for last. And I wouldn't sleep on this figure if you want this figure. And a lot of people and collectors been, looking for this for a long time. I wouldn't sleep on this figure. And that's all I'm going to say about the DX25. Luke Skywalker. That's all I'm going to say. But it is not a seller's market. And when it's not a seller's market, why in the frack do you want stock? Because you're just going to sit on it. And sure, you could go ahead and gamble that the economy will be on an uptick in a year or in 6 months. But let's say it takes 36 months for the economy to heal. You're going to sit on that stock for 3 years in your warehouses? I say no. No more stock. And I think that's hard for us to grip because we really got used to a lot of these discounts and a lot of these things at the bargain bin to be able to rely on a lot of pieces that we built in our collection. But I'll be honest with you. I've talked to a lot of collectors. And a lot of those pieces they were buying, they really didn't want it anyway. They're like, oh, Aries, I got this at a deal, and I got it at this deal, which is why I bought it. Then they buy it, then a month later, oh, hey, Aries, I'm selling this figure. They really didn't want it anyway. So you're kind of buying, a lot of collectors are buying these figures just to buy it because they're cheap. But they don't covet it. It's not so near and dear to their heart that they absolutely need it. And what this new mechanism is going to do is the figures that you really, really want in your collection, it's going to force you not to sleep on it. And really, giving you a window of anywhere between 3 months to 7 months, if that's not forcing you to sleep on it, I don't know what else. We're talking about FOMO. Oh, I got 7 months to order something. I've got FOMO. Really? No, you've got more of a fear that you can't get it at the price that you want. That's what that is. You want it at the bargain bin price. Well, Sideshow, Hot Toys, all these retailers do not want to give you their product at half price. The Ford Motor Company does not want to give you their new Ford Explorer at 50% off. They just don't. Even though you want it and I want it, they don't want to do it. So they're going to do everything they can not to do that. And so the party's over, folks. In honor of Mace, we use that phrase. This party's over. But it's not all bad. On the contrary, I say it's good. It's putting value back in Hot Toys. Goodness gracious. If every figure that I bought from here on forward was going to be selling for so much under retail, like the best car Mandalorians, deluxe or non-deluxe, like the OG Mandalorian, like the Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. I'm a little skeptical about buying Hot Toys. Where I'm like, yeah, if I ever want to sell it in the future, first of all, I got to sell it for 50 to 75 bucks under retail. Then I got to pay shipping. Then I got to pay taxes. Oh, well, I like the figures, and I'm not buying it to invest in them. But goodness gracious me, I don't want to lose my R's here. It just was not good. It was great for people to get them at the bargains, but it's not good for collectability at all. At all. Matter of fact, it stunk, in my view. It just was not helping at all. This brings demand back into it. Wow, they're not making as many. Okay? Lower supply equals higher demand. Let's pause and think about that. With higher demand, that causes invigorated and new interest, not only amongst current collectors or collectors that have exited, but aspiring collectors that are coming in. You want to get some of the aspiring collectors that are coming in to be able to call to action. Because if there's figures that are up on pre-order right now and they really, really want them, but they don't want to go ahead and spend what they have to spend to get a New Hope Leia, they're probably going to go ahead and put a pre-order down on it. It has nothing to do with fear. It has to do with, if you want the figure, that's your window. And again, 3 to 7 months is a whole lot of time. But it almost felt like we were getting 3 to 7 years, which is a little bit unrealistic, and there's no collectability in that. There just is not. Cheers. So, that's very, very important to understand. And before we get into the production numbers question of this piece, again, it is 1,000% a buyer's market. So, when you look at some of these figures that are in the secondary market right now, and you're looking for a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, you're looking for an OG Mandalorian and you don't want to spend the money on the price to get an OG Mandalorian with the blurg, you're looking for a Mud Trooper right now, you probably could get a Mud Trooper for around that $300 range. So when you pay taxes and shipping all in, about $325, even $330, even $350 all in is pretty good. But that's a lot less than what it is during a good economy, and probably where this figure is going to go, because many of these figures are not only going to go back to where they were, but they're going to be higher from where they are. Don't think, for instance, the Han and Chewbacca 2-pack that's above $1,000, that's just going to stay at $1,000 in 2-3 years. That's probably going to be a $1,200, $1,300, even up to a $1,400 set. That's what's going to happen to some of these. Right now, it is 1,000% a buyer's market. If you have some extra money to buy some pieces you really wanted, now's the time to take a look. Because not every figure, but some figures, you can go ahead and you can get a bargain. And I tell you, bringing back Hawk Wars toys up on the screen. And what a great seller this is. And I brought up one of his auctions before and showed you the Mud Trooper at $305. But you can go right here to his store, 100% positive. And a lot of the stuff that's in stock at Sideshow, or a lot of these, he has it in stock right here on eBay. You can reach out to him, including Grail figures. Like he had that Mud Trooper up. You're looking for a Han Solo Trooper? I got mine off of him. You looking for a New Hope Leia? I got my New Hope Leia off of Ray. You're looking for a Director Krennic. Or are you looking for a Bo-Katan? And you're looking for a Bo-Katan at a reasonable price. Or you're looking for a Dark Trooper. Just reach out to Ray. And let me tell you, I actually just got from Ray, speaking of Bo-Katan, I just got this in over the holidays. And I cannot wait. I'm going to do a crazy fracking unboxing. That's what we call them. As an insider, one of the perks you get on being an insider, a Cantina insider, a member here at the channel, is you get to see some of my unboxings. And I'm going to do a crazy unboxing with this Bo-Katan. And it's going to be split screen. You're going to see very high, up-close resolution photos and video while you go ahead and watch me spill my damn coffee over this Bo-Katan. But I got this Bo-Katan. And whenever you get from Ray, you get this awesome He gives you like a comic book. I'm like, I got this one this time with Dengar on it, and I always get a couple of stickers too. It's just a lot of fun. What a great seller! So I would definitely check Ray at Hawkworth Toys out. Make sure you tell them Mary sends you, or whoever you want to check out. Remember, even though these are going on waitlist, you can get them from places other than Sideshow or other than this and other than that. Like I get some of them from Hawkworth Toys. Some of you may get some of them at Big Bad Toy Store. Some of you may get it from Alter Ego Comics or Comic Concepts, or any of these places. They're all good. There's so many. Or your local comic shop that I never heard of and many of us never heard of. And you should go ahead and utilize that. Call your local comic shop. Call this place saying, hey, I want to go ahead and reserve this figure. Or I want to go ahead and put a, go ahead and put a pre-order this figure. And some of them don't even charge you a pre-order. Some of them do. Some of them are higher. Some of them are lower. So one place is not the only game in town. But one thing I do want to caution you about, and you'll learn more about this if you decide to become a Cantina insider, because I'm going to talk about that. I talk about that on my latest insider show, which is going to go up, which I'll tease a little bit later, and on some past ones. But even though you may order from other places, they only have a certain allotment. I don't believe that there's any second batches coming. There's no third batches of Padme. There's no second batches of DX28. It's not happening. You may wish it. You may desire it. But it's just not going to happen. I don't see any scenario where that happens. A pre-order is what it is. What I see happening with a great majority of these is you could go ahead and take a half of them, and you can go ahead and reissue them when the economy is good. But I don't even think it'd be that. I think it would be the most a dozen or so. The most. At the most. I'm probably mixing in Marvel with Star Wars and DC and whatnot. I mean, unprecedented times call for unprecedented actions. So it's very rare when Hot Toys did this. The Attack of the Clones, Yoda, very rare, reissued straight up. Han and Chewbacca from A New Hope were very rare, straight up. But these are unprecedented times. So I believe that Han and Chewbacca scenario, that Yoda scenario, I believe it's going to quadruple. And you're going to see it more often than not because of the situation. It's not going to happen with every figure. And it's probably going to happen with about a dozen or so, but it's probably going to happen. That's the second batches you're going to get. But it's not going to happen for at least 18 months after it's released. So it's going to be it's basically a second reissue. That's what I believe is happening here, folks. That is absolutely what I believe is happening here for sure. So now, we're going to get into a little bit of that insider scoop on ordering from other places. Long story short, you got a certain window there too. Because having stock there for a year, or you're going to have all the time in the world, not going to happen. Same scenario. Some places go on waitlist longer than others. Sideshow, for instance, will go on waitlist a certain time. Comic shops may not go on waitlist for months after that. However, you get some places like Big Bad Toy Store that'll go on waitlist, not even a waitlist, they'll sell out way before Sideshow does. So keep that in mind. For every action, there's an equal and opposing reaction. Not everything is the same, but you're only going to have a limited window because the production numbers, baby, are just not that high. So let's talk about the production numbers. What are the production numbers of these figures? Is it possible that you could take the 3,000 that was used, supposedly, that's the amount for the Arena Suit Boba Fett worldwide, and use that as a base for all the figures that are going to come out now, the announcement-wise? Can you use that as a base? And I say yes. Why? Get the exclusivity out of your head. That doesn't mean as many places aren't going to get this. There's one official reseller in the United States and Europe. It's Sideshow. Okay? That's a distributor of Hot Toys. If it's exclusive to them, that doesn't mean there's going to be less than it would be if it wasn't exclusive to them. It just means many of the other comic shops, you're not going to be able to get it there. You're only going to be able to get it from Sideshow. That's all it means. Hence why you still have the armor in stock. Doesn't matter, the Tusken Raider is in stock and the armor is. I could tell you right now that they made more of the armor than the Tusken Raider, and the armor is an exclusive. Get exclusivity out of your head that it's smaller and it's rare. It means nothing. It just means you're going to get it one place. That's my view. Take it or leave it, but that's what's going on. Arena Suit Boba Fett. You can use that as your base. Depending on how long the figure is up at number one, whether it's 1 week or like the Darth Vader for 8 weeks, you can kind of go ahead and calculate the math of how many they're selling. And then how long it kind of goes ahead and lingers, and is it lingering all the way at the bottom? Is it lingering in the top 10? Is it lingering somewhere in the middle? You could kind of calculate that way. So right off the bat, you could calculate saying, okay, I could deduce that DX28 is probably going to have more copies produced than the third sister. That's a pretty good assumption. And you should go with that. However, you see these going on Waitlist, whether it's the third sister, which will happen. Darth Vader is going to happen first, and you can argue that Darth Vader is more popular than the third sister, and he is. And he's going to go on Waitlist before the third sister. Of course, he came out earlier. But it doesn't matter which character. They're going to sell a certain amount of whatever the pre-order, listen carefully, the pre-order is. And not one piece extra. If it gets in stock, it's because 50 people canceled it. They didn't go on the wait list, and now it's in stock. When those 50 ran out, then it'll be gone. You're not putting it in stock. Again, I pointed this out how many times? Would you rather go ahead and take a chance after that Darth Vader DX28 is exhausted and sit on 5,000 numbers of those in your warehouse when it seems like everybody in the community that wanted was going to get it, and wait for those to sell with this economy when you can't even get rid of some of the data I showed you there? Or would you rather a brand new Vader come up and probably sell 5,000 of those easily? You've already answered the question. That's why it's going to, I believe, a pre-order only model, at least for right now. So whatever the numbers are going to be, start taking out of your calculations what's going to be in stock, because nothing's going to be in stock, because you can't get rid of anything that is in stock right now. What's the numbers of the Mace Windu? What's the numbers of the DX28? There's some thought that goes into this. And I'm pulling up on the screen 6scalecantina.com. And if you don't have 6scalecantina.com bookmarked, again, please go ahead and consider doing so. But you could look right here. And that banner, anyway, is from my New Year's Eve special Aries Live, where I did that show, first time in months, by myself. And that was a lot of fun. And if you want my thoughts on what I think of the head sculpt and what I think about the figure, you definitely want to go ahead and check out that episode. You could go right to the channel or go right to 6scalecantina.com, click on it, and I put that out New Year's Eve. I highly recommend watching it if you want my thoughts on the head sculpt and what I think of the figure and that type of thing. But anyway, when you go to the section at 6scalecantina.com and you go in yellow, everything that's highlighted in yellow is what some samples of what you get when you become a Cantina Insider. And you get all kinds of cool things like the aforementioned unboxings, inside information, live shows, blah, blah, blah. One of the latest ones that I put out just a couple weeks ago, actually, was this one right below my video. Let's see if I can blow it up a little bit. Production numbers, where I kind of dive into a little bit on what I think some of these production numbers are going to be. If you decide to join the channel, you could go ahead and watch that and get all kinds of juicy insight as to what I think, and then pulling this up on the screen. This is another insider extra that I am going to be uploading here on January 2nd for insiders. Mace Windu production numbers, insiders extra. You could see it right here up on the screen. And if you'd like to get some expanded thoughts and heightened analysis, go ahead and join the channel now. It's all one price, one tier. I appreciate your support. And I could go ahead and dive into this even more. And I think I may blow your mind with it. Anyway, a little bit of plug there. And enough of that. But again, with some of the figures here, go to 6scalecantina.com. Let's actually go to the biggest mover section. I want to show you something. So everything's updated here at 6scalecantina.com. And let's see, it's the biggest mover section. Let's go to the tab. That's your second menu item. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now. And with the biggest mover section, you can see right here, updated January 1st. So you see a few figures trending up. Let's go over those. Luke Stormtrooper trending up. Obi-Wan regular and deluxe, forget about it. Obi-Wan everything. K2SO Rogue One trending up. But look at what's trending down. The Boba Fett, Arena Suit Boba Fett, trending down. OG Mando, trending down. Solo Maul, trending down. Boba Fett 40th, trending down. Boba Fett Return of the Jedi, trending down. Darth Vader 40th ESB, trending down. Stormtroopers, MMS 268, 2-pack, trending up. Luke Jedi Knight, trending down. Mud Trooper, trending down. It's pretty much it. Not really a whole lot more. This is very, very small. This might be one of the smallest, biggest. Nothing's moving right now. And you got more trending down than trending up, as you can see here. And you could look at some of these figures. You know, I'll pull these up. Even ones that aren't on here. You know, you could go ahead and take a look at, like, how's Hot and Chewie doing? Well, again, it's like Obi-Wan Deluxe. It doesn't matter what the real question would look at this. This is $1,000. It's right at the value of the market value chart, not including the 32, 25 in shipping, not including taxes, a ton of bids, great seller, 100% all positive feedback, great stuff, a lot of pictures in here, just like you would get from sellers like this and like you would get from Ray at Hawk Wars Toys, which is why I love sellers like this. Pictures go a long, long way. But even in this economy, some of these figures going up, trending up, $1,000 here. When the economy breaks, if we don't have another A New Hope Han Solo and Chewbacca, is it possible that this is going to get even grailier? And I say, heck yeah. Heck yeah. And with figures like that, it's just absolutely unbelievable. You could go ahead and look at Luke Stormtrooper going ahead here and trending up some of these legacy 552.78 with 20 bids. And another outstanding seller with over 2,400 positive feedback, $552.78, albeit free shipping. Still $552.78. Are you kidding me? But then again, you get some other characters like Qui-Gon right now, which is selling above retail. It's at, $300 and it has a ton of bids. But again, not going at the high end, going on the lower end of the value because it's except for Han and Chewie and Luke Stormtrooper and some figures like that, and even sometimes with figures like that, it's a buyer's market. It's just, it's crazy. Anakin regular continuing to sell. See right there, $510 sold, not including the $20 in shipping. High demand. And again, it's not just original trilogy figures. It's preview prequel figures. Look at this Obi-Wan Deluxe. I talk about that. And here's the kicker with this. First of all, this is $575 because the shipping is $85. So $87. So It's $600 for this figure, even in this economy. And here's the kicker: it's used. Hot, 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 hot. Still, how hot is this going to be? How hot is those Lukes going to be? How hot are they going to be when the economy breaks? My. Goodness gracious. It's absolutely insane. So last thing I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about. Again, pulled this up on the screen. Coming up, Insiders Extra. Join the channel to find out about that. Pulled this back up, our current batter. Does the buyer's market indicate no stock moving forward for the immediate future? And I basically just answered the question. And I say yes, because it makes no sense. And in closing, remember what I've been talking about. More and more announcements, less production on those announcements. And that is exactly what you're seeing. And it's very gratifying to see that a lot of the theories that I've been sharing with you, a great majority of them anyway, are coming to pass. And really all it is a look at the data and see what the moves are going to be able to go ahead and move forward in the future. So I'm really not surprised by a whole lot of what we're seeing. But it's definitely a pleasure for me to be able to go ahead and give you my thoughts on this stuff. And I hope that it helps you within your collecting journey. And I'm looking forward to a fabulous, absolutely fabulous 2023 for all of us and for collecting and for Hot Toys. And it's going to be fun to see what we get. We have not only the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary, which if you looked at the Hot Toys new reel, they've already advertised that logo coming out this year. Get ready for May 4th. But there was another logo, the 20th anniversary of the Clone Wars. Can you say Ventress? How about Opress? I think that Kenobi is going to be coming then. Are you ready to spill some coffee, baby? Where's my fives? Is this the year for Han Solo? Please go ahead and smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe. You could follow me on my social media. I put neat stuff up on Instagram. It's free. Go right into the description below. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. We all hang out on Facebook. It's a great group. It's almost at 1,000 members on Facebook. Just go into the video description, click on the link, and just join the channel. We talk a lot about what's going on with Star Wars Hot Toys, a lot what's going on in here. It's a really fun place, cool place. Go ahead, go to the video description here, click on all the social media links for sure. Remember, you can always catch me live on Mondays at 8:15 p.m. Eastern with 6 Scale Raw. Always a wonderful panel in the house. Is it possible that I will be live tomorrow for January 2nd for 6 Scale Raw with a full panel? And I say yes. So don't forget about that. I'll see you tomorrow night, 6 Scale Raw, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Remember, I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy it from Aries Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Squishy.